All right, who's doing the thing this week?
You are, Jake.
Me?
I told you this yesterday.
You did. All right, here we go. Greetings, and welcome to A Star to Steer Her By, the Star Trek podcast, episode 290.
Whoa, Woo! Really?
Title, To Be Determined. Woo! My name is Jake, and today I'm joined by... Chris.
Your holographic date, Ames.
And your date from engineering who's really bad around women, Caitlin.
That tracks.
I should have called myself Colonel Pickering.
Yeah, clearly.
You should have.
But we'll get to that because, yeah.
Well, thank God.
Yeah, so this podcast week, we will be podding about 2 Star Trek The Voyager episodes, Juggernaut and Someone to Watch Over Me. Someone to watch me quietly from the shadows while I sleep.
This isn't Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, so in Juggernaut, which is not about like a really delicious donut, it is in fact about some other thing. I don't know where the name comes from. Maybe it's something to do with jugs.
Didn't one of them say Juggernaut at one point?
I don't know.
I feel like one of them said Juggernaut at one point.
Who knows? Maybe we'll find out next week on A Star to Steer Her By.
Or right now, I'll give you the definition from Merriam-Webster.com. Juggernaut, noun. A massive, inexorable force, campaign, movement, or object that crushes whatever is in its path.
Oh, okay, yeah. I guess
the British definition, a large, heavy truck.
I guess that describes B'Elanna well enough, so I'll take it.
Or the Marvel Comics definition, Charles Xavier's like half-brother who's actually not a mutant but magically powered depending on the continuity.
And he's the Juggernaut, bitch.
Bitch. All right. Well, anyway, bitch, let's keep going. So, in Juggernaut, where are we at? So, B'Elanna is getting some anger management training from Tuvok.
Fucking finally.
Who, well, apparently she flipped out, broke some shit, broke the doctor's camera.
Finally.
Yeah, exactly. I'm saying she's doing everybody a favor.
She is.
But she broke the doctor's camera, and then her punishment was to have to spend time with Tuvok. And he tries to teach her how to meditate, and she doesn't really take to it, but, she's going to give it a try, I guess.
Doesn't really take to it. She fucking laughs in his face.
That's true. So, anywho, we're tooling along in Voyager, and we're like, I don't remember how we detected it, but we detected that there's some debris.
SOS.
Oh, yeah, it was an SOS. That's right. From like a distress signal. And they pull up, and there's a bunch of escape pods, and it turns out only 2 people in this, many escape pods are actually alive.
Whoops.
So we beam them on and wake them up, and oh my god, it's some Malons. You'll remember them. They are the pollutingest people in the galaxy who just tool around in their little ships, dumping fart gas out and poisoning the space.
Yep.
That was Chris dumping his fart gas out of his face.
Yeah, thanks for that. Now it smells like fart gas in here.
Yeah, so we learned that these 2 guys were on this Malon ship and something went wrong. They had to abandon ship. Most of the people still died from this horrible radiation, and the ship, well, it's just continuing on its way. And if it blows up, which it will, it's going to take out this entire sector or something. It's take out a large amount of space, so we better get the fuck away and warn other ships. But oh no, the radiation is fucking with the warp drive, so we can't. Our only thing to do now is to go and board the poison ship and try to disable it or shut it down or fix it or do something. So that's what we do. Off screen, the doctor invents something to make them immune to the radiation for a little while. We board the ship. The Malons are like, dude, this is fucking stupid, okay? We're the dumbest people in the universe, and we wouldn't even do this.
Plus, there could be some kind of griffin-like creature.
Oh, right, yeah. Also, there's legends of a ghost that lives in the poison gas. But they're like, no, it's just hallucinations you get when you are exposed to the poison fucking gas everywhere. So we beam over to the ship and we start, we have to go deck by deck to to like vent the shit into space somehow for some reason. Anyway, we climb up through the ship. At one point, like an airlock opens unexpectedly and causes Chakotay to get bonked out.
Winged.
Yeah,
It must have been the griffin creature.
Yeah, he has to get rescued. One of the two Malons that we beamed over claims that he gets attacked by the monster and then dies because of radiation poisoning and other injuries. Yeah, so by the time we get to the bridge, it's really just let's see who's left. It's B'Elanna and Neelix, and yeah, because Neelix is on this mission because of his experiences with trash.
Yes,
and
our best friend Fezzik.
And Fezzik, the surviving Malon. And they're in the bridge and they're like, okay, we got like 10 seconds left. And Janeway's like, listen, if you can't figure this shit out in the next 3 seconds, we're going to blow you up. I mean, not actually blow you up because then that would blow us up. No, we're going to dump you into a sun. So hurry up. So they're trying to work as fast as they can. Meanwhile, like the ship's already been kind of directed towards this sun, which seems like it would have been a good plan A, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Because it seems to have solved all the problems.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, carrying on, while they're doing this, they get sealed in the bridge somehow, and oh my god, it's the monster. The monster's real. But it's not a monster. It was a Malon guy the whole time. And he was...
a core worker.
Yeah, he was a core worker, and it turns out that there is kind of a Phantom of the Opera situation going on here.
Who knew?
Because he's like been he's horribly maimed by the exposure to the shit, and now he's vowed revenge because he's like, they don't give a shit about us. They let us work in that fucking shithole poison area and turns us into monsters, clearly. Oh, and by the way, in the meantime, he's already knocked out Neelix and Fezzik. So B'Elanna is the only one left to deal with him, and she's like, listen, don't you fuck, they're gonna kill us. I can help you. We have the cure for your disease, or at least, maybe we can treat you or do something. And he's like, no, I'm too angry to do that. So I'm going to continue to kill us all. Ah!
At which point I interjected and suggested she try kissing him because that works at the end of Phantom of the Opera.
No, there you go. But she doesn't. She goes back to B'Elanna basics and beats the ever-living shit out of him with a rod. And evidently, I mean, if she doesn't kill him, the sun that this ship flies into shortly thereafter definitely did. So he's dead now.
Oh, rip that guy.
And so they managed to get off of the Malon ship just in the nick of time. And everybody's okay. Well, except for the Phantom of the Opera and the other Malon who got killed. But, all the important people are fine. And B'Elanna, she's feeling a little guilty about having, kind of lost control. But what else was she going to fucking do? So you know what she does? She does what any of us does. She takes a shower, washes the grime off, also washes the shame off at the same time. So there you have it, folks.
You certainly
Juggernaut.
do.
So, it was weird. Like, was B'Elanna not available? Is that why they brought in season 1 B'Elanna?
Hey. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Like, she felt really like, it felt like season 1 B'Elanna. She's extra angry and doesn't seem to trust Janeway. And it's like, didn't we deal with both of these things at some point?
Well, as I suggested while we were watching, perhaps this was part of their plan to phase her out because it worked with Kes, doing some meditations with Tuvok. That seems like a...
Well, also, I don't know. I kind of feel like maybe this B'Elanna is a little more of an interesting character than more recent B'Elanna.
I'm sure it's easier to write for her when she has more traits.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like, it's been
Any traits at all.
It's been so long since they, like... I suppose it was really, honestly, less the anger issues that seemed outdated and more the attitude towards Janeway and her and Chakotay kind of being standoffish about it. It's like, we haven't done this in a very long time. What is happening?
I don't know. I can see getting very, very angry at EMH if he were underfoot in engineering, trying to document shit while you're working and just being like, Doctor, fucking stop, smash.
Oh, yeah, no,
I
totally.
would do that.
I mean, I feel like she, should have just deactivated him and kicked him out. Because, like, dude, if the chief of engineering says get the fuck out of engineering... So yeah, like I said, I guess her being angry, like, whatever. It was everything, like I said, though, just, like, other aspects felt like, early B'Elanna that is long over, her integration with the crew, and her and Chakotay butting heads over her not being integrated seemed weird. It's just, it felt outdated.
I mean, just in general, this episode feels like it might be out of sequence just from the fact that they encounter the Malon, who they haven't seen in a season, I think.
No, earlier this season.
Yeah.
The season premiere, I think, was when we met them.
No. It feels like they should be well beyond the range of the Malons by now, though.
Well, yeah, Malons we've seen use wormholes to go dump their shit, so who knows where they go?
So I will agree that it does feel a bit out of sequence in that we have angry ripshit B'Elanna in the next episode as well, and you feel like if we went through this where she is actively, trying meditation in the middle of catastrophe, that we might not see that sort of the reaction that we see in the next episode.
Being fair, that anger is also justified.
I agree. Just like I agreed last time you said it.
Yes, but we weren't recording that.
No, yes, I know. So I'm just saying, I agree with what you say. I just feel like
so we're justifying
her threatening to break someone's nose is a bit much.
We're justifying the anger, but it's the relationships that we're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right,
None of it bothered
everybody.
That's fair. And like Jake said, it just seems so weird that, it feels like the minute they figured out the sun plan, they just should have been like, all right, never mind, we're beaming you back, this is better.
Yeah, because, what was the point of doing all the work on the ship if, the ship was going to be unusable regardless, I assume, right? It's not like they were trying to salvage it.
Yeah, they're just trying to prevent the explosion.
Also, if you can just dump the shit into an O-class star, or whatever it was, that seems like a great solution for the Malons going forward. Just throw your trash at the sun, and that solves it.
I don't know. Does it? Is that an ideal solution?
It seemed to work.
A great solution is bypassing the Malon garbage scow people and going straight to their, leaders with the warp designs that won't generate all this toxic waste.
Yeah.
The ideal scenario is to send Greta Thunberg to Malon space, and she'll take care of it.
I mean, although, based on what they have said in this, it sounds like it's possible that their entire society's economy is based on this arrangement, not just the haulers.
My jobs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. This is an occupational hazard, is on their Malon crest.
Yeah. Also, I feel like I'd have bought the whole thing with the angry Phantom of the Opera gremlin monster guy.
Dremp.
If they, hadn't, it sounds like he signed up for this willingly,
That's because they give them lots and lots and lots of money.
But then he's like, they used me! It's but allegedly you knew what you were signing up for?
Yeah, but they told you that they were going to use you.
Yeah, but you never think it's going to happen to you, though, is the thing. You think, oh yeah, I'm going to make all this money, and oh no, why am I getting killed all of a sudden? Damn it, I didn't actually want this.
I suppose so, but I feel like it would have been more effective if, it turns out that people who worked in the Corps were forced into it for one reason or another.
Or lied to about the danger.
Well, I mean, they might be, right? There's such a thing as wage slavery, right?
Yeah, but none of that was made explicit enough that it was just
Yeah, I mean, what I kind of took from it is that, and maybe I'm just projecting too much real-world social stuff onto Malon society, but...
And Star Trek, never.
Never. But I don't know, my impression is that Malon, as Fezzik says, oh, it's a beautiful world, but it's beautiful because there's this entire underclass of people that spend their entire lives, short lives, I should add, dealing with the consequences of having that particular society. So there's probably lots of people on the Malon homeworld that are well off and would never even come in contact with this stuff.
Yeah, the oil tycoons of
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, and then the lower you are on the social order and the more desperate you are, the more likely you are to take these really hazardous jobs.
Yeah. And also being fair to Dremp, I don't think they knew that they could mutate into monsters.
True.
He assumed he would just die of radiation poisoning.
Yeah, and I guess also his brain is probably half melted.
I was surprised he was sentient at all.
True. I think what would have made this better was just ditch the, B'Elanna's anger issues subplot, because it seems like what they were doing was after a couple of sort of cartoonish appearances of the Malons. They're suddenly trying to make them a more rounded culture in the space of one episode, but not enough of the episode is devoted to that aspect of it.
Well, we've also, yeah, that's true. And we've seen, the previous Malon that we've encountered have basically been assholes.
Yeah.
And I feel like Fezzik is the first one that we've seen that seems like a fairly reasonable person.
Yeah, I liked him a lot.
Yeah,
it also helps that he was played by Ron Canada, who I think is great.
Yeah, who was the prosecutor in Worf's court-martial.
Yeah.
Yeah, the moment he starts talking, I'm like, oh, that's a great voice. Wait a minute, why do I know this voice?
we basically did the same thing. Kate was like, was he a Jem'Hadar? It was like, oh no, he was a Klingon in DS9.
Mm.
He was also in the Masterpiece Society, I think.
He was our black friend.
Yes. God, the Masterpiece Society would be the kind to have, like, one black guy and, like, see, we're not racist.
We said at the time.
Did we? Okay, great. I, completely forgot about that episode until I was looking up his credits. I was like, oh, yeah, that shitty episode. But yeah, I don't know.
I thought he was good in this, and I thought having a very reasonable, rational Malon who's like, yes, I'm aware that our society is very problematic, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just, the one... obviously we can't have a full season-long plot
Why not?
involving the Malon, but it does seem to me as though the implication at the end here is I don't know how I'm going to explain this, but I think the idea there would be maybe this will lead to some change in Malon society, but I don't necessarily see that as being true.
Yeah.
Because there's two important pieces of information here. The fact that the people that work in the core can turn into monsters. So all these reports of monsters, and they don't just physically turn into monsters, they go crazy. And I think I don't know if it was explicitly stated, but I think the implication was that everything that went wrong, even at the start, the reason they had to abandon ship
was the gremlin,
was due to sabotage by the monster. So not only do they turn into monsters and go crazy, they'll also try to deliberately sabotage the ship, perhaps, and the consequences of one of these ships blowing up or whatever is devastating, because it can just take out a huge region of space and make it uninhabitable.
Yep.
So
someone
really,
the
Malons, B'Elanna says at one point to Chakotay, probably too loud and too close to the Malon. She says these people are the scourge of the galaxy or the scourge of the quadrant, and I'm like, yeah, I kind of agree, because they're just
they're awful.
They're really bad. And the people are probably fine, as we see. Fezzik is fine.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's a sculptor.
He's a sculptor in his spare time when he's not killing himself on this ship. But yeah, clearly their government and, capitalist, setup here or whatever is really fucking bad.
Super bad.
It's one thing to destroy your own planet's ecosystem and pollute it and be an asshole. It's another thing when you go out into space and ruin everybody else's time.
Yeah, well, they were perfectly okay with destroying the night alien space.
Yep.
Because you know what? We have millions of people on Malon Prime, and they're all living it up in the lap of luxury. So what's a couple of these guys' lives compared to that?
Yeah.
I mean, it's only a matter of time, though, because it's not like the Malon are super powerful. There's not even Voyager on its own could handle one of their ships, I bet.
Maybe Think Tank can take care of it. Oh, no, Think Tank.
But it's only a matter of time before they piss off the wrong people and get wiped out,
See, but they do have a built-in super defense.
They're stinky?
They'll just fart all over you?
Well, yeah, if you blow up one of those ships, their ships actually are a version of the Corbomite maneuver, only worse. It's this explosion won't just fuck you up, it will fuck up a couple of light years of space.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when you attack their homeworld. Invade that.
Oh, wow.
But again, they just surround it with those fucking garbage scows and...
Yeah, I'm also certain, whoever the people on top who have all the power, they certainly know about this whole... The creatures that they're supposed to turn into are called the Vihar, and I bet you they know exactly what those are. Oh yeah, it's a mythical radioactive creature. That's what it is. You're just hallucinating.
That's what I want. I want the Verhoeven treatment for this society.
In that...
I just I picture sort of like his take on if we actually went to their home world, I'd love to see his version of the culture.
Mm.
And then we wipe them out like the bugs?
No, I was thinking more RoboCop.
Okay. See, I'm thinking Starship Troopers. So.
Yeah, sorry. I was going earlier.
Speaking of other influences from other things, was anybody else picking up major Ellen Ripley vibes from B'Elanna towards the end?
Yep.
No, but I love it.
I mean, from like the tank, she was basically stripped down to a tank top and like covered in
so filthy
sweat and filth.
I love that.
Beating the shit out of an alien monster. Like, you can't get more Ripley than that.
I don't know. There was no cat.
I said the same thing while we were watching it.
Neelix. But yeah, the whole ship too, very like the guts of the Nostromo.
Mm.
With like 3 times as much smoke. With just like fog everywhere. I wonder what that was like to act in. I mean, whenever I listen to like the Delta Flyers episode, I wonder if they'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Because I can't imagine. Because it's also, if it's like a fog machine, those things are not warm. They're cold. They're usually pretty cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I actually thought that the way that scene was shot was pretty good when the room was filled with the fog.
It felt like a horror episode. Yeah, it did, and
actually fairly well executed and suspenseful. I thought, which is
a rarity.
A rarity, right?
Yeah, because the whole time you're like, oh god, is that going to be the monster? Oh no, that's just Neelix looking disgusting. Is that going to be the monster? Oh no, that's the other Malon guy. He's fine.
Well, yeah, and then he gets attacked and just vanishes. Like I was like, what? Is he dead? Like what happened to him?
Well, didn't B'Elanna hit the wrong one of them over the head or something?
I don't think so.
Oh, he just...
I may have missed it, but...
No, I think she hit the right one.
Yeah, I think we're left to assume she hit the right one, because I think at that point Fezzik was collapsed on the floor.
See, I thought, because I know they showed her, like, trying to figure out who she was supposed to hit, and then because, like, when the smoke cleared, Fezzik was gone, and the other one was still standing, I thought maybe she'd fucked up and hit Fezzik.
Mm.
No, I thought that at that point there was only one guy left standing already.
Yeah, it's possible. But yeah, like Jake also brought up in the intro, it seemed weird. Like, it felt like the episode ran short when she had her, like, sad in the shower. It was like, why are you upset? You tried to do the right thing. It's not your fault this guy was beyond reason and you had to thwack him. The way they were having her portray it was like she was upset that she'd failed or something. And it's like, you tried. You did good. Failing would have been not even trying, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I that scene was a little perplexing as well. Yeah, I agree with that. I like the effect of the sonic shower. That was cool.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, one thing I'll say about that scene, because I actually appreciated that scene an awful lot, because even though B'Elanna strips down and goes into a shower, it is not at all sexy.
No, God, no.
Like,
no.
That is... She is there to clean, and she is not there for us to ogle her. And they don't make her really ogleable. They just, it is just part of what she is doing, and I give them a lot of props for that.
Yeah. Though I will say, just from in in-universe perspective, I get why they have to do it, but sonic showers look like they suck.
What part looks sucky?
It probably is like the deepest clean ever, but there is no way it's as satisfying as a nice hot shower.
Yeah.
You don't know what it feels like though. It could feel like all nice and tingly and warm.
Yeah, I don't know.
We see the sonic showers a bunch in lower decks.
Oh.
And it just looks satisfying.
Yeah, see, from this, it just looks like you stand there and it, like, whoobs the dirt off you. And again, it looks very thorough. I'm not saying you don't get clean, but I'm just like, I said to Caitlin, I was like, I'm with Neelix. I want a bath after this.
Yeah.
Why not both?
Yeah, why not both? Use the sonic shower to do the clean and then the bath to relax.
Kind of what Caitlin said.
That's what I said. I said, it's Japanese style. Shower first and then bath.
Yep.
That's funny. I always do the other way around because then you have to shower off all the filth from the bath.
Well, that's why you shower first to get the filth off, and then you just sit in the warm to like.
But then you got to shower that off.
Well, it's just water at that point.
Yeah. Oh, well, I do bubble bath.
If you're clean, then your water is clean mostly.
Yeah. If it's just water. Yes, you're right. If it was a bubble bath or something, you'd have to.
If it's not a bubble bath, why fucking take it?
You're raising a good point. Yeah.
I mean, I haven't taken a bath in decades. So
a dingo.
I just shower.
I love a bath.
Yeah, especially in the winter when it's cold and you're like, hot bath.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just wish like standard tubs were bigger.
Well, you're a large man, Jake.
Yeah,
you're
well,
very
that's the thing.
tall.
Like, I one time I stayed in a hotel room that had a pretty large tub, so I was like, I'm gonna take a soak. But even that was like, the water doesn't stay cold or warm very long. It cools off quickly.
So you're saying we should get a jacuzzi? Okay, I'm up for this.
Yeah, clearly
Ooh.
a jacuzzi is the way to go. Keeps the water warm. It's bubbly.
You can throw your soup in there.
Yep.
Ew.
It's got a filter so you can piss in it.
Oh, no, you can't. You don't. Please don't.
So not to change the subject, but I'm going to change the subject.
Yeah.
Because we're suddenly talking about peeing in a jacuzzi.
Like we do.
Yeah. Did your notes say anything about the model of the ship the guy had at the opening of the episode?
Oh yeah, that was weird.
Oh, the little model.
Yeah. That he was going to give the son?
No, I didn't. It didn't. Not that I saw.
I was kind of wondering, because, so Jake might be familiar with this, but back in the day, before First Contact came out, one of the, Star Trek books had a version of what would eventually become the Phoenix. I don't think they called it anything, it was just Cochrane's warp ship. And the model looked a lot like the drawing they did in the book of what Cochrane's warp ship originally was until First Contact came out and changed the design.
I wasn't familiar with that, but that's interesting.
Yeah, I know actually when they even started making First Contact, they tried to design it to kind of look like that earlier version, but we're like, we just can't make this design work with the built out of a missile idea, so it was abandoned.
Yeah, and that is kind of an important part of the idea.
Yeah, but I was wondering if maybe it had been a model of that they had made and then used as something else, since now it definitely wasn't the Phoenix.
God, if it was, I didn't see any reference, but I could also have missed it. I did appreciate that this Malon is like Wash from Serenity playing with toys. I will call it This Land. I thought that was quite cute.
It was.
What was much less cute was Neelix trying to make himself soup, not in a jacuzzi.
Oh, God.
To make himself
horrid.
more resistant to the radiation, and I didn't need that.
Well, it also didn't really come up, you know what I mean?
Well, it was a gagging reflex. Something else was going to come up.
Ew.
Yeah, the noises.
Yeah, it was pretty vile.
I mean, the whole time they're wandering around the ship, and it's like, oh, the doctor's going to make us less radioactive proof, or more radioactive proof, and Neelix uses soup to make him, survive better in the radiation. And I'm just there, pulling out my hair saying, use an EV suit, please.
Yeah, I think the implication, though, is that whatever this radiation is, this theta radiation is, it'll just pass through clothes, or even like a suit.
Yeah, but we went down to Demon Planet, and it was only because the silver blood aliens penetrated the suit physically. Hot. That anything got into them. If an EV suit could survive Demon Planet, it can survive this ship.
Well, yeah, but I mean, we don't know about this radiation, right? If it's there's even gamma radiation, which is real, is going to pass through a lot of materials. That's why
this is theta radiation.
I know.
Which one's that?
Well, I don't know, but for all we know, it'll pass through. There's just not enough shielding that you could put on an EV suit to protect you from it.
Yeah, gamma radiation makes a Hulk. Theta radiation makes a Vihar.
Yes.
I don't know. I think they, at the very least, then they should have said, we can't use EV suits because plot convenience and all this shit. You want to see our faces.
Yeah, I mean, if the hull of the Voyager wouldn't even protect them, I feel like there's little hope of a suit.
Yeah.
Did you guys catch the reference to our best friend Daniel Byrd?
Oh, yeah. So I meant to mention that in the description, but it turns out that Harry Kim's buddy, Danny Byrd, was B'Elanna's bully growing up.
Okay, I thought that name was familiar.
Which means that in the alternate timeline where Harry stayed on Earth and Danny Byrd got assigned to Voyager...
That's awkward.
There's a that's an awkward series I want to see where B'Elanna is even angrier and more
Is there a series where Torres can be angrier?
I don't know. But
Where-
she apparently hates the Danny Bird character on that show.
Rightly fucking so. Where was the teacher to stop this little racist?
Yeah, what an asshole.
Like, what the fuck?
You know what? I'm glad Danny Bird got stranded in the Delta Quadrant in that alternate timeline.
Because Milana probably fucking killed him.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Got her revenge.
Yep.
Yep. That is it.
It was a, not gonna lie, pretty forgettable episode in a lot of ways.
Oh no, but come on, there was that one scene where they were like, yeah, but there's this myth about this monster, and Chakotay's like, a myth, what is it? And they're like, well, it's a story that's passed on generation to generation, but that's not important right now.
Speaking of familiar stories, someone to watch over me.
Yes. So from the Phantom of the Opera in this episode, we go straight into My Fair Borg. I don't know. I couldn't think of anything better.
Pygmalion?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Pygmalion I like.
Pygmalion, yeah. Either way.
If only it was Cyrano de Bergerac, that would have been better.
God.
Maybe another day.
They already did that in a TNG episode.
DS9.
Yeah.
Oh, you're thinking of that one.
With,
I'm thinking the one where they literally did Cyrano de Bergerac with Barclay.
I'm thinking the one where Quark uses Worf to woo Grilka.
Yes, there's that one as well.
That's a great...
that's another one.
That's a good one.
But yes. Anyway, yeah, so here we are on the Voyager where we're getting ready to host a ambassador from some religious order, I guess, planet that's really ultra religious, or maybe he's just a monk. I don't know. Anyway.
He's from Canada.
Yeah, so Janeway, he is from Canada.
No, Ron Canada's in the other episode.
Yes. But there were a lot of scenes of him walking around hallways, so makes sense.
The audience doesn't get the joke yet, but all right.
Yeah, that's true. Anywho, Tuvok and Janeway are going to be beaming down to visit this monastery or whatever, and one of the monks is going to come to the ship, and Neelix is going to host him and
be as bland as possible.
Exactly. Because these are like ultra religious people, there's all these rules, and like they can't eat food with any flavor. You got to pray 300 times an hour, and there's just all these rules that Neelix is preparing for. And that ends up sort of being the B plot, so I'll just go through that whole plot and then get to the A plot. So it beams up, and turns out that the monk that's visiting, he kind of has got this pious thing, but then he drops the facade pretty quickly and is like, you know what, Neelix, I want to try your spiciest foods because, I never, variety is the spice of life. Neelix is like, okay. And then it just gets progressively more and more crazy, the shit this guy wants to do. He's hanging out with holodeck hookers. He wants to get shit-faced and party all the time. It turns out that his species lacks the enzymes to break down synthahol, so it'll just stay in the system forever or something.
Which, hysterically, the main concern was he'll just stay drunk forever, as opposed to, just dying, which is what I assumed would happen. No, he's just going to be drunk. And I was like, well,
synthahol's different. Synthahol, I don't think it's quite the same as alcohol, so who knows?
No, I suppose not.
Yeah, because synthahol is supposed to not give you sickness, not make you sick. But
well, he still was hungover as shit the next day.
Yeah, but again, that's because he lacked the enzymes.
But we gave him the enzymes.
No, we gave him nanoprobes.
Oh.
But anywho, so basically, in the end, like, he's done all this crazy stuff, and he's really nervous. He's like, oh man, my boss is gonna find out I got shit-faced and did all this stuff. And then his boss beams back, and he's like, so, did you do anything crazy while I was gone?
How many hookers?
And Neelix is like, nope. We did all the very pious, very, we stuck to the itinerary. And then the boss is like, I was hoping you would have gotten laid.
At least tried some Hasperit.
Yeah, I was hoping that you would have done some crazy shit.
So, like, what is that feels almost like, what is it, like when Amish children go out for their year of walkabout?
Yeah.
I said that during the episode.
Oh, did you?
I did.
Oh, I didn't hear you say it.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's sort of like a good moment in the episode. But anyway, so that's just the B plot. Back to the A plot. Earlier...
Don't you mean the T and A plot?
Yeah. So Tom and Balana are having a romantic dinner And they look over their shoulder in the, I don't know why they're having the romantic dinner at Neelix's, because I can't think of anything less romantic.
The food looked good.
Sure.
It did, actually. Aside from the bland cheese he suggested was desserts.
And B'Elanna's like, Tom, 7 and 9 standing over there, and I'm pretty sure she's staring at us. So she goes over, she confronts 7, and she's like, 7's like, yeah, I've been studying you. Here's my notes. And it's got like, here's when they boned. And there's a great joke about how loud they are when they bone.
Here's when B'Elanna was on the rag.
Yeah, so like B'Elanna's like, you fucking bitch. And then like Tom's like, wow.
Great Tom impression, Jake.
Cat fight, get the mud.
Yeah, exactly.
No, the mud was in the previous episode.
Jerry.
That's true.
Jesus Christ.
So anywho, yeah, it almost comes to blows, but we diffuse the situation. And then 7's going to the doctor and he's like, you know what? Maybe instead of studying people from afar, you should like study human mating by mating and like having a relationship. So I'm going to do this Henry Higgins Pygmalion thing with you. So then the rest of the episode is more or less these lessons that the doctor is trying to get, and some of them are hilarious.
Complete with a little rain in Spain.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, so they're doing these lessons, and then of course, perhaps expectedly, the doctor starts to find that he begins having feelings for 7 of 9. So
he falls in love every day, though.
That's true.
A little bit.
So he makes a wager with Tom to be like, listen, I guarantee that 7 of 9 will not only bring a date to the ambassador's fucking thing, that she'll leave with the same date, and it will go smashingly. And that's the the wager from the story. Of course, expectedly, 7 of 9 figures it out when Tom
fucking states it straight hand.
Tom has a big fucking mouth.
Tom has a big mouth, outs the doctor, and ruins the budding romance between the doctor and 7. And and that's and then but then 7 being 7 is like doesn't hold a grudge. She's just like, yeah, no, we're friends, but nothing more. And then the doctor makes a holodeck program so he can pretend that they're in a romance. And that's pretty much it. And she gives him an upgraded tricorder, which he takes as a token of love, I guess.
No, friendship.
Yeah,
that's why he was
friendship.
so bummed.
Yeah. So anyway, that's it. That's pretty much what happens.
Man, women, when you put in nice and they don't put out sex, am I right?
When I read the episode description, I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, this is going to be Voyager does Pygmalion.
He did say that.
But I didn't expect it was going to be like almost 1-1.
Yeah, like beat for beat.
Like when Tom showed up and I was like, oh my God, he's going to be fucking Pickering.
Yep.
It's like, oh, that was unnecessary. Like, I get it. People redo Pygmalion all the time, but like...
What? Do they?
It's an old, exhausted story.
Please stop redoing Pygmalion. No one needs it.
Yeah, like, if you're not gonna do some genuinely interesting thing with it, like, they could have done something, but they just did it 1 for 1.
No, and that's the other thing about, like, something like a Pygmalion is that, like, you're treating 7 like what she already isn't already great. And she's already great.
She just doesn't know how to socialize.
Right.
In a way that people are comfortable with. She knows how to socialize, just in her own special way.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
You don't have to teach her, like, this is the response you give in this situation, because that's not who she is. Why make someone change to someone more boring?
She's also developed a very dry sense of humor that I appreciate a lot.
I do too.
Yeah.
I have a question about 7 and about that just came into my mind for the first time, which is probably obvious to everybody else. But I know that, like, a lot of the Star Trek fan community, especially folks who are on the autism spectrum, have found Data to be a very likable and relatable character. Is there a similar outcry for 7?
I think there definitely is. I think I've seen people
I've just never
before.
seen it. I see it about Data all the time, but, like, you're right. I mean, that's exactly right. Like, she is great. She has a great personality. She doesn't need to change.
Well, except, when we bring her back for Picard and she's just,
I knew you were going to say that.
A normie now. Yeah, it's true. I think, I like 7 just the way she is.
Yeah.
I actually kind of, I feel bad for her first date, because I feel like he was kind of into it too before she broke his shit.
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty good match because they were both like, we're both awkward. It's cute.
Well, plus, like, he didn't even seem that mad. Like, I kind of feel like if she hadn't torn his ligament...
Yeah, when he said we should do this again, I think it was in earnest.
I think he meant it.
After his arm has healed.
And listen, B'Elanna and Paris, just like Dax and Worf before them, probably no strangers to, injuries after sex.
Oh no, see, the reason everyone knows when they fuck isn't because they're having crazy loud Klingon sex, it's because whenever they're done, Tom lively cries for like 20 minutes, screaming, "I'm sorry, father, I'm sorry."
Wow. That's just upsetting.
He also shouts out Captain Proton Blast Off as he's
yes.
climaxing.
Perfect. Thank you, Jake.
Yikes.
Oh god, speaking of Robert Duncan McNeil though.
Oh yeah.
Poor fucker gets to direct the episode, but they can't give him a good dress uniform.
What was wrong with his dress uniform?
It was too big.
It was very clearly a hand-me-down, because, like, the collar was huge. And also, and this probably wasn't as obvious on little, CRTs in 99 or whatever, but blown up, even without it be, I know it's not remastered, but you can see, like, so many of the little, like, bits of metal in the piping are just gone.
Yeah.
Like, have just clearly fallen off. Like, this was not a well-maintained costume.
Where's the bits of metal?
Like on his dress uniform,
collar.
On the collar.
The piping.
Yeah. You could see, because it's made up of, like, a lot of individual little pieces of metal, and a lot of them were just fucking gone.
They were probably, like, just beads or something.
Yeah, that had come off.
That have fallen out.
But, like, yeah, like, they Mulgrew had a very nice fitted one. What little you saw of fucking Tuvok, can't think of his real name. His was
Tim Russ.
Tim Russ, thank you. His was fine, but
did you have the same problem in Course Oblivion when they were getting married?
I didn't notice it there, but I might not have been looking closely enough or something.
But also in that one, he was a lieutenant, not a.
That's true. He had another pip to draw the eye.
Yeah,
not just a little ensign.
Yeah.
Every time they call him ensign, I kind of giggle.
Yeah.
I feel bad about,
but yeah, he I don't know. I imagine they just are reusing.
Oh, definitely.
Past, like, this is probably like Riker's dress uniform. Or
something. He's very tall.
Yeah. Well, that might be why the jacket was too small for him.
Yeah, it is just like, oh god, it's so beaten up. It's like, did you guys like dig that out of a box? Like, Jesus.
Well, you could always say, well, maybe that Paris doesn't take care of his.
Yeah, it's true. Maybe he just like. Here's the thing, though. In a world where replicators exist, like.
But they can't replicate as freely on Voyager.
That's true.
Sometimes.
So maybe he had to replicate it like once, and then. Yeah,
like, I'm not wasting replicator rations on a new shirt. I want a hamburger.
Yeah.
Ditto. Oh no, I want a hamburger.
Sorry.
Damn it. Last week we did the same thing. We were talking about the Wendy's sandwich. Yeah, going back to costumes, one thing I noticed, so EMH says when he designed the special uniform for 7 because it needs to, allow Borg something or other to happen in it. MacGuffin.
Bad explanation
for sure.
Horny costume.
That he said, I created a whole bunch of casual outfits for you, too. I just never showed them to you for some stupid reason. Because you look so hot in this one.
Ugh.
Well, I mean, that's true.
Yeah, here, I made you this replica Starfleet uniform.
What I realized, though, is like, how much did he design? It's like a casual outfit and also this cocktail dress, which was very nice.
I know we talk about The Sims all the time, so I'm going to do it again. It's like when you create a character in the Create a Character screen, and you get to come up with all the different outfits they get to wear.
Yeah, it's fun.
And you got your jammies, you got to have your formal, you got to have your sportswear, swimsuit.
Yeah, so I was thinking about it more like the Doctor playing with Barbies, like getting all the different. Like, there's going to be like a Safari 7, and with like
that's the expansion pack,
right? Arctic Adventure 7. All.
No, I didn't catch you playing with your dolls again, sir.
Yeah.
I was just about to say that you. I see. The thing though is Tom wouldn't be like, I didn't see you. He'd be like, hey, play with dolls, huh?
Can I play too? No, I think he'd play too. All right, so we got the new outfit. What did you guys think of the dress that we put 7 in.
I thought it was kind of sexy.
It was fine.
I don't know. I
thought the way it draped around her chest
the boob?
in some area. Yeah, there was like a boob that just kind of hung out of part of it. Which
I don't like an asymmetrical boob.
I'm not gonna lie.
Well, Ames, most women have one breast larger than the other.
Oh, ditto. So... For sure.
I honestly, I've already kind of forgotten what it looked like.
It was just
sort of silvery and lumpy.
Blue. Lumpy. I thought it was more bluey.
It was like a lilac-y.
Yeah. But
it was a little purplish.
But it had a lot of like draped fabric up around the chest.
That's what I meant by lumpy. There was just a lot of draping going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then swooping under one boob, but not the other boob. So they just made
that was
them
the thing.
look
It was swooping under the boob that just kind of was like,
I guess I was too busy.
Wow, you guys are never happy. She's in skin tight, not possible to move, breathe, or sit with like corset boning.
Oh, it was still skin tight.
That's bad. Oh, this dress is lumpy and her boob is not symmetrical.
Under the lump,
under
the lump, she's still being constricted. See, I was too busy paying.
I know. I'm just being a dick.
What was the outfit she had in the Killing Game?
It
was a nice dress.
Because it was like her lounge singer dress. Like that I felt
that was nice.
Was nice.
Well, I liked when she and Janeway were being spies and they're just like in like black jumpsuits.
Yes. The Doctor should have dressed her up in like her burglar Barbie outfit.
I love that.
Yeah, I guess I was too distracted by her hair.
I was surprised by how short it was.
Yeah, just in general. Like, as Caitlin pointed out, it's probably a wig regardless, but
that's a good point.
I would have expected a lot more hair being needed to make that weird twist in the back, so I was surprised that it was like... Yeah.
I wonder what I forget if they're called wig wranglers or what, but the people who create and maintain the wigs, if they had to be like consulted... Oh, there you go. If they had to be consulted, like, okay, in this scene we need to be able to take the hair down. Is that a special wig? Does it cut between the hair being up and the hair being down? When you come back, it's a different thing of hair. Like, I'm sure they had to be consulted, like, whoa, on what is Seven's hair.
I also think when it was actually styled, it was another wig, because it looked a little too long to have been made from...
Oh, it was definitely another wig.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, the Doctor even says that he went in like Scorpion or whatever, he even says like, oh, I've, done something to, or maybe it was the gift. I don't know, or whatever. At some point, the Doctor's like, oh, I stimulated your hair follicle. So I'm wondering if her hair just doesn't grow naturally anymore because of all the Borgie shit. So maybe he just has like a whoop 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 he can do and like make her hair grow instantly.
I think he had to kind of switch him back on, but I'm sure, especially as her physiology has reasserted itself, we're probably supposed to assume it's now running on its own.
I have to say, I think she, like, the best hairstyle was the hair down in the cargo bay. I thought I like that better than the hairstyle she had on the actual date.
Yeah, it was very 90s.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe it's just a dated look.
It is, and very little from the 90s is aged well aesthetically.
Well, what better for a date than a dated look?
Yeah.
But yeah, poor ensign or lieutenant or whatever he was. Chapman? Chapman,
the guy whose arm she snapped?
Got his arm torn off. Which is interesting because B'Elanna threatened to tear off the alien's arm in the last episode.
True. No, that was this one.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, with the ambassador.
Oh, yeah, she threatened to tear
Thompson.
off. Yeah. That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
And to break Seven's nose.
That's right. It was Seven who threatened to tear off Scott Thompson's arm.
Tom was so bummed because he was like, yeah, she's been watching us. In the back of his mind, he's going, three-way. And then B'Elanna blew it.
Yep. But yeah, I don't know. So as corny as the My Fair Lady plot set up and like how trite it is, I still kind of found this episode delightful in a lot of ways.
It's very light. Yeah, there's comedy sprinkled throughout and someplace dumped upon. There's just a little pile of comedy here, but it's also, I think, the Jerry Ryan and Bob Picardo have such great chemistry together.
Yeah.
That they sell it when they kind of shouldn't.
feel like Picardo has great fucking chemistry with everybody.
Yeah. And I don't know, I mean, I just think that they're two of the better actors on the show. And like, whenever you pair them up, I think you get good stuff. Even the singing scene, which could have been really shitty and stupid, because they're actually both really good singers, it kind of worked.
Yeah, that was very sweet.
As we were watching that scene, he, like, at one point, the EMH closes his eyes, and I said, okay, in a second he's gonna open his eyes and see her for the first time. And then he did, and I was like, fuck, I could have written this episode, I love it. But I loved it.
Well, the thing is, George Bernard Shaw had already written this episode.
Right.
Could Caitlin have written Pygmalion?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What is kind of interesting is that they started shooting on this episode before they knew what the ending was going to be. So they didn't know if, Picardo and Jerry Ryan were going to get together, or whether it was going to be like an unrequited thing, or what it was going to be. And they ended up just filming it very honestly, like it could go any way you can, because that's what they were thinking as characters. So
it worked for Casablanca.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm pretty sure this episode came out in 1999. Is that correct?
Correct.
I wonder if it came out before or after She's All That. Because that was another 1999 Pygmalion adaptation.
God,
let's
With
find
Freddie
out.
Prinze Jr.
Oh,
Wait,
no.
what was?
She's all that.
Oh, I've never seen that.
Oh, it's so corny.
Yeah, dude, at some point adapting, like, old plays into films, like, in the 90s was such a thing, because you've got, like, Clueless, and you've got 10 Things I Hate About You, She's All That.
Oh, after. This one came out after She's All That.
Oh, man, I bet you when they saw that movie, the writers were like, fuck.
Oh, God, the poster. It is so 90s.
I remember it not being a terrible movie, but it was,
She's All That the one where, like, Amanda Bynes dresses up like a boy? Or is that
no, it's not Amanda
that's a
Bynes.
different one.
This is Rachel Lee Cook.
I should watch that. I feel like I'd like it.
Is the Eliza character in this one.
I only saw Clueless recently for the first time, like in the last couple months.
Oh, look at that spiked haircut on Freddie Prinze. Oh, God.
Freddie Prinze was cute back in the day.
So we're doing a 10 forward on She's All That.
Please no.
God, no.
Oh my God, no! But we should do it on all of those types of movies. It would be such a great. It would be really
Not
fun.
even
That might be
bit.
a spin-off podcast.
I would love. Yeah, but I can't think of any other. It would be a very short podcast.
That's
That's
true.
fine.
You'd
tell
be
you what.
surprised.
Tell you what, me and Ames can take a month off, and you two can do a.
Don't do it under the star to steer her by banner.
No, it can be it can be a shore leave.
No, it can't.
I just want a month off.
Disagree.
All right. Well, anyway, carrying on. So yeah, I don't know. There were a lot of the comedy in this episode worked really well. I think it's the dry humor of like Seven playing sort of the straight man in a lot of these scenes. Like when she asks out Chapman, and like it's just there's just like this great dry humor.
Mm-hmm.
He drops the tool, and then like after successfully asking him out, she's like, "Oh, and you should watch your tools. It can be a workplace hazard or whatever." It's just like, yeah, that was well delivered.
I would like to point out, Jake, it has taken me this long. I just got your walking down halls joke.
Oh!
Yes.
Wait, what?
For our audience who's not getting it, the ambassador, from the
Cotty.
yes, there you go. The monk was played by Scott Thompson, famously a member of the sketch troupe Kids in the Hall.
Ooh.
Hence, there were lots of scenes of him walking down halls.
Yeah, which is also why that character is just the superest ham.
Yeah.
It's like, I really should have hated all of that, but it's Scott Thompson being a massive ham, and there's no way to hate it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you really can't hate Scott Thompson.
And we had another Seinfeld alum this week because his boss was Mr. Pitt.
That's right.
Oh, wow.
That's right. He was Mr. Pitt.
Mm-hmm.
So
Actually, interestingly, Mr. Pitt was actually the voice of Palpatine in the Clone Wars up until his passing.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Pitt.
Yep.
Speaking of our friends from the Cotty, the first thing we see in the episode is Neelix has made some cheese specifically to be bland. So I wanted to ask you guys, what is the most bland cheese?
American.
No,
No,
it's salty.
that's just salt and oil.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe
Munster, I
the
feel
ones
like,
I'm
is
eating.
blander than American because it doesn't have as much salt.
I'm trying to think, like, because the thing is, a lot of that's the tricky part. Like, American, for all that it's good for melting because it has so much just salt. It still really tastes like something once it melted, whereas certain cheeses, once you melt them, kind of lose their flavor. So I'm trying to think of them cold.
I'm leaning toward a soft cheese. Because there was a cheese, someone I knew, like, made their own cheese with, like, enzymes and shit.
Yeah.
And it was almost like a cream cheese, but not. I forget if it had a different name or whether it was just whatever this guy came up with for cheese. And it was cream cheese-like, but so mild.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
What about, like, a ricotta? Because ricotta is more of a texture than a flavor.
Cottage cheese has also not got a lot of flavor.
Oh, but that is the worst
disgusting.
texture.
Lies. I love cottage cheese.
Oh, see, you're right.
Have I ever fed you my lasagna?
No.
Yeah, once I think.
I think I did, because my trade secret, use half cottage cheese, half ricotta.
Well, see, here's the thing.
That's different, though. It's part of a thing.
Yeah,
making
eating cottage cheese out of a
jar.
bowl.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Disgusting to me.
Like, I can't do those little, like, snack things of cottage cheese, because cold cottage cheese's texture is just... Yeah, I bet mixed in cooked and stuff, it's probably fine. It's
I
just
used to use it in my smoothies, too.
Ooh, that sounds pretty good.
Smoothie. Yeah.
I pretty much only try to eat
hard cheese.
Sharp, very sharp, like sharp cheddars and things.
That's the thing, is like, I'm an uncultured swine. My main experience with cheese is deli cheese and the occasional cracker plate.
Oh, I do love a good cracker plate.
Any plate you use is a cracker plate, all right?
Well, that's what, when he said, like, they like it really, they don't like any spice. I said, so they're white people?
Yeah, I don't know. I think once you get outside the realms of, like, cheddars, anything more mild than a cheddar to me just tastes like nothing at all, which...
So you like those little spread-em cheeses. What are those?
Oh, like the laughing cow?
Yeah, like little laughing cows. I think those are very mild.
Oh yeah, they're they're like a cream cheese themselves though, unless you get the flavored ones.
A skim mozzarella, like...
God, I can eat that by the bag.
But like the cheese sticks though, like a part skim mozzarella cheese stick, those are pretty like... Not a ton of flavor.
I find mild provolone to be pretty flavorless.
Yeah, the mild ones, yeah. An aged one has a kick, but a mild one is...
I've had some really nasty provolone cheeses.
Oh yeah, I
can
hate provolone, but...
They can be potent little fuckers, depending on how it's made.
And it's like not a good... When they're potent, it's not like a sharp flavor like you'd get from an aged cheddar cheese. It's like... It's not appealing.
People like the tang.
Yeah. So did the ambassador.
Oh, God.
I don't know what that means.
I don't want to know what that means.
Yeah, I kind of like... I'm pretty sure at the end, the other guy knew full well that Thompson had gone crazy town.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I feel like that's why at the end, it's a shame. You should really try things. I feel like this is what happens every time. They send an ambassador, they go ape shit, pretend they didn't, and everyone just kind of agrees to pretend they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, and I liked Ethan Phillips in this episode.
So panicked.
Yeah,
yeah.
Every scene with him where he was just like, oh God, oh God, oh God, was gold.
I cannot corral this man.
What do I do? Pray.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, for an episode that largely did not include most of the main characters, I thought we still got
Janeway was away for the week, so...
Yeah, Janeway, Tuvok weren't in it, Beltran was barely in it, B'Elanna was barely in it outside of like that opening scene.
Well, that's unfortunately been par for the course lately.
Yeah.
With the exception of last episode.
But I was going to say, but she did get, the meat of it for...
I don't know, was Harry Kim in it at all?
Yes.
Yes, because he was like, oh, you're looking for a mate, huh?
Oh, right.
It is not you,
like,
Harry
yeah,
Kim.
You're not even on the fucking list, bitch.
There was that scene, yeah.
I play the clarinet.
That was brutal. That was brutal. What a sick burn.
Yeah.
I gotta say, though, Doug Branowski there, the other candidate, apparently has a poor sense of humor. Sunshine, if you play the accordion, you better have a fine sense of humor, because people are going to shit on you all the time for that.
Well, that would really fuck up your sense of humor, don't you think?
I think playing the accordion gives you a sense of humor.
That's what I mean. It feels like you can't be...
Weird Al.
Yeah, you can't be an overly serious person who plays the accordion.
I met a guy like that.
Oh. I'm so sorry.
I feel like the accordion is one of those instruments that's like bipolar in that it's either like a goofy, happy, fun polka instrument, or it's like a dying in the gutter on the streets of Paris instrument.
Well, that's usually a concertina.
That's true. That's true. Good point.
Where does keytar fall?
I don't know.
If you're dressed as a bear playing it, you're cool. Otherwise, probably not.
It's so funny, though, because, I mean, it does seem like an intensely complicated instrument when you see just the buttons, the keys.
An accordion?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like, I cannot imagine how much fucking effort it takes to learn and be consistently good with that thing.
My stepdad had to learn it as a kid.
And he has a good sense of humor.
And he hates it. Not a sense of humor. He loves a sense of humor. I don't think he ever liked the accordion, though.
Yeah, we have a good friend who plays the accordion. You all know Kevin's husband.
I did not know he played the accordion.
He does. And he's a lovely human.
Yeah.
That's also true. What a sweet lad.
They're all better than you, Doug.
I thought at the very, very end, jumping to the end, as we often do, when EMH gets turned down by Seven, goes to the holodeck, I'm like, oh no, he's finally going to fuck Sandrine. She's been trying to get into his pants this whole fucking show long.
That's the thing is, though, the EMH doesn't fuck, he falls in love.
That's right.
That's over and over, man.
A lot.
Yeah, this is like his, third or fourth time, I think?
Well, let's see. Because he kind of was into Kess, right?
Hmm?
He was kind of into Kess.
I don't think that was ever made explicit. That was...
Yeah, that's debatable.
That was like more... They were more trying to do a Tom Kess.
Well, I don't think it was debatable. I think he was into Kess, but
for certain textually, Freya, his Vidian girlfriend...
I don't know if you could say he loved his real-life wife.
No.
I think that was just for the experience and the act.
Yeah, and especially, like, once she was turned into a real person, he definitely didn't like her. So... Yeah, this might be the third time, unless I'm forgetting an episode.
Yeah, just because I happen to know, like, Seven and EMH, not going to be a thing in the future, shocking everyone. But they built it up like it could be a will they, won't they in the future a little bit. But they were very specific, like the writing room said, like, yep, we've checked that off, we're not going to revisit it ever again.
Yeah,
I think that's too bad. I kind of like them together.
Yeah. The thing is, like, you either don't do the... everyone has to have a relationship subplots, which, is kind of a thing in Star Trek, I guess, where everybody ultimately has to have some kind of romance.
True. Yeah. I can't think of many who don't.
Right. But, I mean, it's not out of the question just to have some, an ace character, right? Like, why does Seven need to have a relationship? Why does the Doctor need to have a relationship? And, like, the fact that they will eventually force those issues, isn't great. I mean, if they were going to have relationships for those characters, I wish they were with each other because the chemistry is really good. Almost like how I much preferred Worf and
Dax
to any other relationships, or even Worf and K'Ehleyr, right? Like they seem to have a good chemistry.
Actually, I always felt like Worf and Troy made more sense than Riker and Troy.
I loved Worf and Troy.
I think Michael Dorn just has really good chemistry with the women they pair him off with.
Worf and Troy was way better than
Man, I gotta get on reading Inzadi.
Oh, you do.
So, anything else on this one?
I don't drink. I don't have the stomach for it.
Oh,
I loved that one. That was a good one.
That was a great dad joke.
That was my favorite.
I also really loved the speaking of one-liners, or not even one-liner, just a great joke was when Tom was telling hologram jokes before the Doctor got there, and then the Doctor goes, stealing my material, I see. And I'm like, that's fucking great.
Yeah.
I'm just picturing the Doctor at a cocktail party telling hologram jokes, and I loved it.
But then he's like, well, yeah, your jokes suck, but this guy's so fucking drunk, he thinks they're hysterical.
Yes.
So, like, yeah, I stole your material, but only because the audience was right. It's like, wow.
I don't know. As like trite as this plot was, I still really actually enjoyed this episode a lot.
I loved it.
Yeah, I think
so much.
I give a lot of the credit to Robbie McNeil for the direction. I thought the way that it all flowed and the tone that was kept was a great job too.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, like, he's done a couple other directing gigs, and I know he's, like, in future, he's going to do a lot more directing of things, so.
And he got a really great performance out of Robert
Harris.
Duncan McNeil.
Because he respects him so much. The other thing we can say about this episode is I would, like, emphatically qualify this episode as a bottle episode, which, you know, I think for our blogtivity this week, segueing as smoothly as possible into the blogtivity.
It's better than what I had in mind.
Oh, good.
So the caddy ambassador really hit the bottle hard.
I was trying to think of something like that for my segue, yes.
So uncork this bottle episode.
Oh, no.
And we're going to dive in, because I think the first thing we have to do is figure out what exactly qualifies as a bottle episode, because I think across Star Trek, people probably think different things about it, like the goddamn Prime Directive, which I maintain that I'm right. All right, so bottle episodes. Does someone have a coherent and cogent definition of a bottle episode?
Well, like, so what is the dictionary definition of a bottle episode? Like, what
on Memory Alpha or
just like in general? Like, when we talk about a bottle episode of a show, it's kind of a term of art, I think.
I think there's also a ton of gray area. Like, here's the first sentence on Memory Alpha. Bottle show, also known as a bottle episode, is a production term for episodes which take place mostly on existing sets and do not generally involve major guest stars. But you notice in that definition, it says mostly and generally, indicating a whole lot of, like, what could be gray area.
Yeah, like, for me, I feel like if you've got to build anything new, it automatically isn't. Like, I feel like if you're making new... Like, unless you've built something new that you know or at least think you're going to use again, then, like, maybe I'll give you that. But if you're building something bespoke, I'm just like, nah, I feel like that breaks what I always kind of imagined it as. I'm a little more iffy on the whole guest star thing. I'm like, I feel like, you know, I guess it depends upon how much of an impact they have on the story.
Like this episode has a pretty notable guest star.
Yeah,
but he's Canadian.
I'm sure he wasn't expensive.
Yeah.
They paid him in Canadian dollars.
Canadian
again,
bacon.
I mean, Kids in the Hall was pretty big at that point. He might have been a little pricier than you'd expect because of that.
I don't know.
But yeah, at the very least, leaving the guest star thing a little vague, I feel like, you know, yeah, if you've built a new set, you're not a bottle episode.
Yeah, like an example that I would think of that's, you know, there's no new sets, but there's tons of costuming and makeup is something like Journey to Babel, which I've seen arguments for being a bottle episode. And I think some people get stuck in the you can't ever leave the ship as being like the only factor of a bottle episode.
See, but Journey to Babel has so many guest actors, both major, like, you know, you got Sarek and Amanda, but even just like a lot of the major principal extras, like the ambassadors from the other worlds, the Andorian and the Tellarite.
Yeah, and everyone's like painted up and
like, I feel like that's not that just if part of the deal with them is that they're supposed to kind of like save the production a bit of money, that episode didn't save them squat.
No.
And I know, you know, when we were talking about this, we were looking at the list of episodes that were suggested by Memory Alpha, and one that, like, at first you're like, sure, but was but I was like, no, was Lower Decks, because that focuses on these four, you know, major, like, 3 completely new guest actors, and Nurse Ogawa,
yeah.
who, like, has been there as a principal extra, but is suddenly, like, doing quite a bit, and there was that spare bartender they pulled out of their ass. Like, that, to me, makes that not a bottle episode, because it's about this whole different group of people who normally are just sort of in the background.
I almost feel like a bottle episode should also, A, be intended to be saving money. Like, they found ways to save money specifically and made it into the episode consciously. And B, should be more character-focused than let's, like, I don't know, have new characters or something.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, there's no doubt
Lower
that...
Decks episode.
Yeah, Lower Decks is character-focused, but it's on characters we don't know.
Well, I think, you know, thinking about just in terms of the saving money thing, I think the quintessential example of that is the empath.
Oh, I was going to say Shades of Grey.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't count. I would not count a clip show episode as a bottle episode. I feel like that's a different thing.
Yeah, I'm half joking, but oh boy.
The empath is the one with Jem, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But that's not on the ship, and it's a new set, right?
But that's the thing, though. It's not like
it's not a set. It's a fucking black room.
It doesn't quite fit the description of the bottle episode because, they're in a new environment, but that environment was specifically made out of basically spare parts that they had lying around, specifically because they didn't have the money to build new sets.
Yeah. There's actually literally, there's an old 60s Doctor Who where they had a similar thing where, like, they realized somehow they were an episode short for a season, but had run out of money. So there's an episode that takes place entirely just a white space.
So that's the thing, though. When you're limited, it makes you be more creative, and you can end up with something very interesting, like the empath.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this episode you're referring to is any good or not, but if it is, it's because of that.
Pat Troughton.
Is it one that survives?
Yeah.
Oh, thank God.
Well, just one part of the larger serial. The rest of the serial actually has sets and stuff. Yeah, I haven't seen that one in a while. I can't remember. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Because I feel like when I looked at the list, it was like mostly like, I don't agree with that or that or that. But I'm trying to now think of ones that actually are.
Yeah, well, I'll say one that I haven't seen on any list, but I think could be a good example of one, is Cause and Effect. Because that is the same ship over and over and over again from different angles. There is an explosion, so maybe that could disqualify it. And our guest actor, we only ever see on a view screen. He was there for maybe a half an hour one day.
Well, also, like, I'll give you that one too, because they probably didn't build a whole new model. They had a Miranda-class one lying around that they
And they had the
added.
bridge.
Yeah, but they had to do pyrotechnics because they had to blow up a Galaxy-class model as well.
Did they not? Maybe that wasn't stock footage from another episode or anything, maybe?
No, because I'm pretty sure if you look carefully, it's a very cheap model that they built.
Made a new one.
Yeah, I think they probably just went and got
a toy
model at like the hobby shop. The model that explodes, you never really see that close.
Okay.
And I think they just filmed the same explosion from different angles.
They should have just used that fucking Star Trek 3 footage again.
Yeah. Although I have to say, the close-ups that they did of like the nacelle exploding when it gets hit by the other ship and the venting.
Bozeman?
The Bozeman, that's right. And the venting of the cargo bay. Like those are decent models that they use for those.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. Oh, actually, there was one Ames that we talked about, because I again, confused it with a different one.
Clues.
Yes.
Clues, 100%. That was one I was going to throw out.
I got confused. I always think Clues, when you say that episode title, is...
Conundrum.
Conundrum,
I would also say, is a pretty good bottle episode.
See, that one for me, though...
models in Conundrum.
There's a couple new models, and again, you've got sort of the major guest figure in Commander What's-His-Name.
Yeah. Although, the main model that we see in Conundrum is this space station thing that they were gonna blow up, and I feel like that was a reused model. Or maybe they built it for that and then reused it another time.
Maybe.
But it's like that tripod-shaped space station thing.
Wasn't that also the god in the Bobby Hill episode there?
Oh, maybe. That does sound familiar.
Wait, the god in the Bobby Hill episode?
Wasn't there like a space...
The Justice, I think.
Oh, Injustice. Yes.
Oh, is it just... Okay.
Yeah, the Bobby Hill episode, the god was Picard.
Oh, that's right. There wasn't a space station there.
I am not a god.
He is a tripod, so it tracks.
Would the episode where Picard reveals his love of ships in a bottle count as a bottle episode?
What episode even is that, though?
I was trying to think of the title.
I had literally no idea.
I was trying to remember the title of that one so I could make that joke, but I couldn't think of what the episode was.
Me either, but I didn't let that stop me.
I was never a boy.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it was Data.
I am not a merry man.
I am not a merry man. Yeah, no, I did the Worf voice for Data, which is
I feel
incorrect.
like, if anything, probably just because of the nature of the show, you've got a good chance of having a lot of DS9 bottle episodes. Especially early on when they didn't leave the station much.
Yeah, that's the thing about them, though, is I feel like every single time, like there was a string of episodes when we talked about, oh, this episode was expected to save them a lot of money, but they forgot to think about, oh, right, the makeup. Or they were supposed to save a lot of money, but, oh, shit, this explosion scene.
Yeah.
Like that kept happening over and over and over again, where there's always some weirdness about a Deep Space Nine episode.
Yeah.
Like, I think The one on my list that is actually there's a couple Deep Space Nine was worth bringing up because there's Babel, which is nothing like they're just on the ship and no one can talk like coherent English. That one I think is a good example. And then there's Civil Defense.
Oh yeah, well that was new sets a lot, right? Because we were exploring the guts of the station.
I don't know. I think it's probably easy to create a tube, a Jeffries tube to crawl through.
Which one's Civil Defense?
Attention,
That's
Bajoran workers.
Attention, Bajoran workers.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and Goldie Cott shows up and is like not concerned at all by all the like fucking phaser rays flying around.
Nice, so hot.
That scene is so great.
Until we get to up to the next layer and find out that shit.
Yeah. Hoisted
Goldie Cott, you little bitch! You tried to abandon ship.
Yep.
Oh no.
Yeah. Now, Memory Alpha and other lists I've seen try to say Duet is a bottle episode, but I think that's just an episode with a particularly good guest star.
Yeah, I feel
Duet
like
again.
That's the one with
Maritza.
Maritza, Gul Darheal.
The guy who was like, he was pretending to be this war criminal.
Kira learns to be less racist.
Yeah, but he'd actually just been a clerk there, not the guy he's claiming to be. Really early one.
I don't remember it.
It's the
really
best
good.
episode of season 1 by far.
It's the judge from Ghostbusters 2.
Well, I'm almost finished with my second watch through of Deep Space Nine, so I guess I'll have to start over again.
Yep.
What's on your list, Jake? Because I think one of your favorite episodes counts.
One of my favorite
from
episodes.
TNG.
I don't know.
I'm going to say possibly Remember Me could be a pretty good example.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Although we do get Quace. He's
barely.
He's in it for like 2
fucking
minutes.
barely. Even less than Captain Bateman.
I know.
Yeah.
But he's the MacGuffin of the whole episode. But no, I'd say that qualifies because
yeah.
Oh, we also have the Traveler in that episode if we're talking about guest stars.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why it's such a there's so many gray areas.
He shows up at the ass end. I forgot.
Yeah, he teaches Wesley how to use his magic powers to rescue Mom.
Yeah. I'd still give it to that one. They're both minor enough appearances.
Yeah, and I would call that I would say that probably qualifies as a bottle episode because although it takes place on 2 ships in 2 universes, they are the same ship.
Two Rikers, 1 bridge.
Yes.
Others where we see, let's reuse the bridge again. What do you guys think of the Mark of Gideon? Where they just have a spare Enterprise to put Kirk on and get his STDs. There are a ton of extras in that though, so maybe not.
Also, just like any episode of TOS where they go to another Constitution class ship, like
they're not leaving the
Tholian
ship.
Web, right? Like, that one pretty much only takes place on the Enterprise.
I don't think that's the one you're thinking of.
The Tholian Web?
Yeah.
Isn't that the one where...
Are you saying there's a second Enterprise?
There's a Defiant.
Oh, the one that disappears, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, but the rest of the episode pretty much just takes place on the Enterprise, and the only thing you see is, like...
Ghost Kirk.
Ghost Kirk.
Oh yeah, that one's definitely I think a bottle episode. There aren't even other characters other than a kind of beetle on the screen that talks.
There are the Tholian ship models, but they're just triangles.
Yeah, and like in the 60s version, they look really shit.
Yeah,
the web looked good.
Yeah, that's true.
One I disagreed with that was on the list because again, it only takes place on Enterprise sets. And at one point, it's standing in for another ship, I think, is the Doomsday Machine.
Yep, I was thinking the same thing.
But I feel like the Doomsday Machine model and, the major appearance of Commodore Deckard for me kind of torpedoes that.
Also, they kind of, they had to build a different model, or did they? They must have, for the, what the fuck's his ship called? The Constellation? Is it the Constellation?
That sounds right-ish.
Because that ship's all fucked up. That's heavily damaged.
Yeah, so that probably is a different model.
But yeah, I mean, they pretty much only using... Another one in that same category is the Ultimate Computer, where we don't even see the bridges on the other ships, I don't think.
Oh, yeah.
We do briefly.
We just see them flying around.
No, because they definitely cut to the guy leading the other team once or twice.
Oh, right.
And I think they, put like an extra tall back on the chair.
Right. But for the most part, we're only on the Enterprise.
Does Nomad count? They did have to build Nomad.
That's true. But again, they never leave the ship, so sure, I'll count it.
Sure.
And it's, it's not quite the same as,
The changeling?
The changeling. Oh, what should definitely count are the naked time and the other naked one, the naked place. No, the naked now.
Well, they did beam in the naked time. They were down on the planet, so they had that weird concrete looking set.
Yeah, but
built.
that cost $50.
Yeah, just get some of that popcorn ceiling stuff and spray it on literally everything.
They did go over to that O-berth in
and
the
they were on the
TNG
other
one, but those were probably recycled.
Correction, sir. That's blown out.
So, yeah, those ones probably count, just because what little they added.
Yeah,
And again, I'm willing to bet the TNG sets were recycled.
Oh, yeah.
probably.
Hell, the TOS one was probably recycled from some other... It was probably the control room from where No Man has gone before.
Oh, how about The Enemy Within?
I don't know. They had to hire 2 Shatners.
And that dog.
Yeah, and 2 dogs.
Good dog.
Excuse me, those were very alien-looking aliens. They weren't dogs.
No, yeah, you're right.
You're
right.
Very advanced puppets.
Yes.
Oh, they do have Sulu leave the ship, though. Sulu's down on planet, but...
Yeah, shooting that rock.
Yeah, just being cold.
Yeah. Burr.
But again, they're on a planet that's, I'm sure, a set that they already had, which is just like their planet set.
Yeah.
Fucking... They used it, and then 5 minutes, they had to get off, at 5 p.m. so Lost in Space could get in.
Right.
Then Gilligan's Island somehow was on it later.
That's another thing about TOS, is that most of the times when they do beam down to a planet, it is either a backlot that already existed,
or a park in Los Angeles,
or a park, yeah, or Vasquez Rocks, or it's like it's nothing that they had to like spend a lot of money on. It's just stuff that they had.
Yeah,
how many? So like, I'm pretty sure both Hitler episode and Gangster episode were probably filmed on a New York City backlot type set.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like anytime you go on a location, though, it does cost extra because of all the extra equipment and shit you need for the day.
But again, yeah, like on location, but backlots already have that shit. Like that's the whole point of having a backlot, is that like the lighting and everything is just like part of it.
But if we allow backlots, that just really opens
I know. I wouldn't. I'm not going to count those as bottle episodes. I'm just pointing out that like TOS, as expensive as it was at the time to produce, did a lot of cost cutting. For a lot of things.
Well, they didn't have any freaking budget, especially season 3. They had like no fucking budget.
Oh yeah, well, but yeah, exactly. But the early episodes didn't we say that like the pilot was the most expensive pilot filmed for TV to that point or something?
Yeah, that's because they had to build all the sets and models and shit.
Yeah.
But once they existed, you can use them all the time.
Yeah.
I had another one I wanted to bring up. What one was it? Oh, the Deep Space Nine episode, The Sound of Her Voice, was almost entirely on the Defiant.
Yep.
Which one's that?
That's the one with the voice.
Where they talk to the lady that's already dead.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's a great episode, too.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd say that counts. There's like a very brief foray into a cave at the end, but that's
But she's also a guest star.
No, she's a skeleton. Oh, well, yes, the actor.
Yeah, and she's just a voice actor, though, so I think...
No, we see her on screen.
Do we?
Do we not?
No.
We see her corpse.
Oh, I thought we saw her on screen at one point, but
Not
I guess
once.
I'm lying to myself.
That's why we were laughing, because it's, I forget her name. I think it's Denise somebody. But yeah, we said she is a black woman, and the skeleton we find is a white woman. So no, she is not on screen.
Huh.
I'm trying to think. There's certain episodes where we spend most of the time.
Oh, Deborah Wilson is the name, by the way.
The actor?
Yeah. In a shuttle.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Are there episodes like that?
What's the one where Quark has to hang out with James Cromwell for a day?
Quark has to hang out with James Cromwell for a day.
He's playing some kind of alien, and a bomb has fallen into their room, and they have to disarm it.
Oh, right.
That's on the Defiant there.
Yeah, they're... what the fuck was that one?
I don't remember.
I remember it being a really good one.
It was good, but that was
good.
kind of like the DS9 does Disaster, because the ship was under attack.
Oh, disaster. Disaster could count.
That was another one I was going to say. But then I was like, but they had to do a lot of stuff with the turbo lifts.
And those kids.
And the
Fuck
kids.
those kids.
Fuck
Yeah, I think we
Kids
didn't we
work
say
for
it's
free.
like, didn't we say like basically it was like DS9 does Disaster but good?
Mhm.
Yeah.
His Disaster's kind of shit. Yeah, Disaster could be a bottle episode even though it's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, bottle episodes don't have to be good.
No, I know. I just wanted to get another dig in at Disaster.
Yeah, I think it's actually really hard once you have a definition of a bottle episode. It's hard to find ones that actually fit 100%.
Yeah.
I think that's why the definition has to be kind of
Which
vague,
is why it is
Yeah,
vague.
it's a judgment call. What about Data's Day? That mostly is on the Enterprise. They do have a dance studio.
They have the dance studio, and they have to dress up Keiko in bridal wear. And we have that Romulan lady.
But
yeah, why
otherwise,
not?
it's pretty much only on the Enterprise.
And I wouldn't be surprised if the dance studio was maybe just actually a dance studio that they had access to on the lot and just brought some cameras in.
Yeah, I also think it's probably not very hard to create a dance studio set.
Yeah.
Yeah, where the definition I think breaks down is on Memory Alpha, they include a Discovery episode, and I think just anything from any of the currently running shows can't be bottle episodes because they're even sure the sets all exist, but you had to like create a space whale in Magic to Make the Sanest Man Go Mad. You had to do all kinds of extra bullshit, even though you're on the set.
Well, I feel like for me, part of it too would be like it has to be able to stand on its own. And Discovery is so heavily serialized that
I don't think a bottle episode has to stand on its own.
Really?
That's actually one of the things I had thought was key to the definition myself, but since it didn't get brought up in the definition.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see why it has to. I think it just has to be like the episode itself has to like be contained expenses wise.
Well, I also think there's got to be a relative consideration because any episode of new Star Trek is going to be a lot more expensive to produce than any episode of 90s Trek.
Yeah.
Right? Like
even with inflation.
Yeah, it's just because the production values are so much higher now. So like by that standard, I might say, I can't remember the name of it, but the fairy tale episode of Strange New Worlds might qualify because it's all the regular actors and they're all just in different costumes pretty much, and they're all on the ship.
That's interesting. I didn't think of that one, and I think it's too new to be on the website.
Guess there's a question of how much those costumes cost.
Right, I'm sure a lot, especially when they had to do the dog too. Love that dog.
But again, you could probably get those fancy costumes, which I'm sure weren't cheap, but also probably rentals, right?
Maybe, although
all those.
I some of that had to be bespoke. Like I think Pike's definitely was. Again,
but even so, like I'm sure all the cost of those costumes combined is
less
than
a new set.
Less than a new set, or less than like a special effects shot. Visual effects shot. Right.
Meanwhile, the cost of those costumes combined was more than the budget for your average TOS.
Yes,
right,
absolutely.
Exactly.
Even after adjusting for...
Yeah, it's like $50,000 worth of costumes, but still a pittance compared to like what they would spend to build one of those sets or build a, or do a VFX.
Yeah.
All right, now we're just talking... We've just been talking about how much things cost in other shows now.
Yes. Bottle episode. The one where Scotty shows up and drinks the green. Wait, wrong kind of bottle.
Fuck you.
Oh, I got one. Any episode of TAS, because they literally just reused all of their animation frames.
Yep.
Just caught the copy-paste series.
I'm sure I could pay for this show.
Yes.
I think you probably could have animated it better, Ames.
And with more attention to detail, like the correct color of things, and like, yes.
Yeah, God, that show cost less than Walter Koenig.
Oh God.
So what? Like,
which is why they didn't get Walter in it, is because
he would have doubled their budget.
No, it's just an American cheese sandwich, no ham.
Yep.
Oh God. Yeah, I guess it is really hard to nail down what exactly...
it is. And so many episodes that you think, oh yeah, this episode, except for this one particular element of it, which would be a pain in the ass to produce. Like, I feel like the joke of what is a bottle episode is disqualifying of most bottle episodes.
Yeah.
Like, have you guys ever seen Community?
Random episodes. I one day I will watch all of it.
Yeah. There are a lot of really good episodes of Community because they go for little shticks. And one of the shticks is Abed said, like, when he notices they can't leave the school, he says, "Oh, this is going to be a bottle episode because there are these limitations." And something happens that continues to limit their options to do things throughout their day. He's like, "This is a bottle episode. It's a bottle episode." Yeah. So it's Community does a bottle episode, but they actually kind of are very self-referential about it. Yeah, so this is going to be a tough blog activity to write up because the answer is going to be nothing qualifies. Shake off my hands.
Nothing qualifies except all of TAS.
Perfect.
Because nothing qualifies, everything qualifies.
Ah.
Yeah, this is either the hardest or the easiest blog activity.
Only one way to find out.
Why not?
Go to the Tumblr, people.
Yeah, check out our Tumblr. Yeah, speaking of never leaving our rooms, I never leave my room, so we're going to check it all out on Tumblr. So, yeah, read up on sshbpodcast.com. You can listen to more Star Trek-y episodes over on our SoundCloud or wherever it is you listen to. I was going to say blog activities. Nope. Podcasts. I don't know what order anything is coming out anymore, so I'm going to say what I think we're doing next week, and we'll see if that's actually true. Next week, we're doing more Voyager, running very much closer to the end of Season 5.
Oh, shit.
Next week's going to be 1159 and Relativity. So that'll be a really fun week. You can also talk to us on Facebook and Twitter. If you have better examples of bottle episodes than the ones we've listed, feel free to share them, and we'll probably find the one stupid thing that makes it not qualify.
Up yours, listener.
Think you've got better ideas about bottle episodes than us? Make your own fucking podcast.
Yeah, fuck off!
No, they might get bigger than us.
All right, well, we're all back where we belong, back in the bottle. This has been Ames.
This has been Caitlin.
This has been Jake.
And this is always Chris.
Put a cork in it.
Put a quark in it.
Ah!
.com.